There's been plenty of moments that I fell in hard times. More often than not, getting faded was my lifeline. I realized that I've always struggled with change, but sometimes you gotta rearrange before you go insane. I've been doing my best to stay true to myself, put my next foot forward and smoking dope for my health. I never give up the music till I'm rolling in wealth. Some days I swear this basement's my own personal hell. Well, I love the sound of the city. Goddamn, I love the sound of the city. Yeah, yeah. I'm wide awake when you're with me. I feel better when you got my back, yeah. Red eyes, I'm sky high. I think this might be the best night that I've ever had, that I've ever spent with you. I confess I'm obsessed with the sex. Heart palpitations every time that she texts. I admit that we ain't always been the best for each other, but what is love without the little test? Girl, you know you're my sneaky link. When I'm with you, my ego shrink. I'm just craving time for us alone. I think about you every time I'm home smoking dope. I love the sound of the city. Goddamn, I love the sound of the city. Yeah, yeah. I'm wide awake when you're with me. I feel better when you got my back, yeah. Red eyes, I'm sky high. I think this might be the best night that I've ever had, that I've ever spent with you. All my life been a derelict. All my friends, they wish me dead. They wish me dead. Every day is filled with dread. Filled with dread. All my life been a derelict. I've got the time to quit. Never change, yeah, I swear to it. And of all the times I've been down and out, this time was different, I welcomed it. Every day that I fail to quit, I wind up here in the state I'm in. The heavy weight, cause it's bound to break. I need a break, the skin I'm in. Tip of my tongue tastes like battery acid. Try to push forward, I cannot push past it. Feel the blood on my tongue, it tastes metallic. Another day passes, I don't break the habit. I've got the time to quit. So typical. So typical. I've got the time to swallowing me, falling into
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Got decent bit to cover. Gonna cover something super important with Bitcoin. 25K is now almost a make or break level. At least for at least for the end of the year. Not forever, just for the end of the year. So, gonna start off with SPX. Pretty much following the original plan. Nice pullback. Potentially could say that this is a retest. Maybe we come back down a little bit and pop back up. But either way, still in a macro uptrend, still looking really good. Honestly, not too worried about this yet. DXY, I'd really like to see this deviation start to come back down, or really actually deviate. For right now, we kind of broke out, kind of retested last week. It was looking really, really good at first. Now it kind of looks like a break retest, maybe some continuation upwards. But again, SPX hasn't broken down, so until SPX does, I don't really know the main level for DXY, right? There's no confluence between DXY and SPX at the moment. So really hoping this breaks back down through 105 and maybe hits 104 moving forward. Getting into Tether, I've showed this 100 times, but here it is again. This is more or less my plan for Bitcoin. We ultimately get a move down. Well, when I say plan for Bitcoin, for those of you that don't know, when Tether moves up, Bitcoin moves down. And when Tether moves down, Bitcoin moves up. So ultimately, Tether moves down, kind of retests this area here. And I'll even redraw this line just so it's a little bit more accurate. Ultimately retests, this support level. When we hit this diagonal support level, Bitcoin will drop as this will come back up. But ultimately, you're looking at an ascending wedge, which is a bearish reversal pattern. So I'm expecting this to go down, causing Bitcoin to go up. Ultimately expecting Bitcoin to break all-time highs when Tether dominance breaks below 5.75. Big love from Israel. And I hope you guys are staying safe over there. What's up, yes sir? What's up, Dorian? What's up, Bleeding Crypto? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So, don't take this as this is gonna like the complete blueprint of what's gonna happen for the rest of the year, but this is just kind of my thought, right? Is we kind of top off this ascending wedge and then reverse, right? It's a reversal pattern. If this reverses, then Bitcoin moves up. So onward to Bitcoin. So I wanted to cover a couple things first. For all of you guys that got kind of duped on the news today, I'm sorry. But this is why I stress not to trade news. By the time the news comes out, it's too late. And oftentimes it can be fake. So especially in the crypto space, right? I mean, you might have a big, like exactly what happened today, a big, I guess publisher, news outlet said that the ETF was passed or whatever, and it turned out not to be, and immediate knife afterwards. Kind of still seeing that upward wave, so I'm still determining what's next. But yeah, we haven't broken resistance yet. A close above could constitute a breakout, right? But one thing that I wanted to talk about is this is really starting to look like a head and shoulders, right? You have your left shoulder, your head, and now your right shoulder. And it's pretty symmetrical. Like on a weekly, this is pretty symmetrical. Like symmetrical patterns play out very, very well in crypto. So I'll be honest, like I wasn't quite expecting this, and I still have a feeling that this is just going to turn into consolidation and higher. But I can't ignore this, right? This is a textbook reversal pattern. It's very symmetrical. It's very much there. So keeping an eye on that. Now, with that said, patterns don't confirm until their confirmation points gets breached. So ultimately, we need to lose 25K. So if we move back down and start to bounce off 25K, this is no longer a head and shoulders, right? So I'd really like to see that and make it just a giant bull flag, right? That's always possible, but for now, it does look like a head and shoulders. Now, the good thing is, if you haven't started your DCA, or you're looking at starting a DCA, if we break below this, start buying. Like once a week, once a day if that's what you want to do, once a month, whatever it is. But having that DCA starting on that neckline break would be huge. I'd probably continue some of my DCA. I'd probably throw in another $10,000 to $15,000 and buy as we kind of drop. I don't believe that we put in a new low, especially with how strong the stock market looks. But it wouldn't surprise me if we did, something like that. Or excuse me, I don't know why my pen did that. Something like this, right? Where we just we had the move up, come back down, and then we move up higher, right? I think a lot of people expect the market to just do this, and that's just not what it does. If you look between 2019 or really 2018, 2019, all the way to 2020, we had plenty of periods where you had these up and down periods, and I would ignore a lot of the COVID drop. I don't think we would have dropped that low, but lots of periods of kind of this like wave, right, where you go up and down and then finally breaking out of that macro, the big macro diagonal there. Ultimately a perfect breakout and retest here. But we don't have that kind of frame. I know a lot of people think that, it was this. This just doesn't, that's just never it, right? A diagonal line, it's just not sustainable. So keep an eye on that head and shoulders, but let's keep moving on. So we know what happened today, a lot of news. We have 3 hours until close. If we close within here, we're still in resistance, so I'm not looking for longs. Volume is there. Volume looks nice. So if we do close above, that would be a technical breakout. But again, a lot of it's news volatility, so I am keeping an eye out for that. With that said, today kind of screws up a lot of the analysis. Originally, I thought we'd just get a double top. We just do that, come back down to 25K, but we completely wicked through. So for now, I don't really see anything technical that says we should go down, but I am keeping an eye out on this head and shoulders. That is something that needs to be watched. But we haven't broken out, right? So you really shouldn't be looking for longs. You should be looking for shorts. If we get something like this on a 4 hour, like a nice double top, or maybe we get some deviation here into a head and shoulders, I would definitely look to short that, especially with how the weekly looks. I would 100% look for shorts there. So I guess you could argue that I am looking for shorts at the moment, at least swing shorts. But I am keeping my options open if the daily does close above. Really, to invalidate this completely, we kind of need to close. We really need to get above 31 to 32K, right? I mean, that's a pretty deadly reversal pattern. And head and shoulders and inverted head and shoulders usually have the most accuracy. Yeah, I would agree with you, Bleeding Crypto. I would agree with you. When do I expect ETF approval? Probably long after Bitcoin's above, 100K, 150K. I mean, that'll get approved. Everyone will get bullish. Your grandma's going to want to buy Bitcoin again. That's when I plan to sell. It's just too easy. But I do have this weird feeling that this head and shoulders isn't going to play out. We're going to follow it, right? You could certainly look for shorts, like macro-wise, on the daily. But again, my concern is like the SPX looks so good, right? We have if SPX broke its macro uptrend, then I'd argue, okay, like this makes sense. But I don't necessarily agree yet. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Excuse me. And check this out. You got some big divergences, potential divergences here. So keeping an eye out on that. This also kind of looks like a double top. If this comes back down, alts are going to fly. And that does make me semi-bullish. If alts are pushing up, that's very bullish, right? So keeping an eye on that too. I like to look for confluence in my charts. Also, if you look at the total chart, that's not a head and shoulders. That's a bull flag, right? I mean, you have your flagpole, and then you're kind of consolidating into that symmetrical triangle. So I'm not trying to say or make an excuse and say, oh, if I pick I can't pick one direction. Like, that's not what trading is, first of all. But second of all, I try to find confluence between charts, especially when trying to figure out a direction, just to give more confidence to my answer. And there's no confluence here. Total doesn't look like a head and shoulders. Bitcoin dominance is bearish. And you guys have to remember, the reason why Bitcoin dominance is important is when Bitcoin dumps, right, alts should dump more. Basically, altcoins are an overextension of Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 1%, alts drop 2%. If Bitcoin pumps 1%, altcoins pump 2%. Excuse me. Bitcoin pumps 1%, altcoins pump 2%. So if Bitcoin drops, right, or if Bitcoin dominance, essentially, you have these bearish divergences. If this starts to drop, your altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin, which means that this head and shoulders does not necessarily play out. So keeping an eye on that. Again, there's a lot of stuff going on in charts, and I don't have a clear view. And when I don't have a clear view, I don't make a trade, right? So that's something you can learn from. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to kind of look at kind of grand scheme and show you guys give you guys my quick 5-minute thoughts. I'm gonna go walk the dogs, and that's about it. I really hope this market, starts to come back. There's just no one here anymore. There's like 20 people, like 20 big or 20 consistent, I guess, crypto influencers or crypto analysts, and it's very, very quiet. It makes you wonder, right? It makes you wonder what's going on. And that meaning, like, this is the bottom of the bear market. Like, it has to be. This is the quietest it's ever been. And for a lot of you who have never been in a bear market, I mean, this is where you build, right? So maybe you use this head and shoulders if it does play out to your advantage. Again, I don't believe we're going to put in a lower low, but I don't want to say it's impossible. With that said, guys, I'm going to go walk the dogs, make dinner, and go enjoy the rest of my evening. I hope you guys do too. Always remember